Good afternoon, everyone. It's Matt over at WallStreetLiveChat.com. Today is Tuesday, August 20th. All right. The market tried today, but it couldn't do it. It just couldn't do it. All right. This wick acted as resistance to yesterday's wick, and we did close under the 50-day, and we also closed under the body of this candle. The trend line heading up is right here at around 163.10 area, but I think that's going to be broken. I do not think it has sustainable power to keep that move going up, and that's pretty. I guess I'll use the bottom of these to make it look a little bit better for us, and the same thing, 162. But I think we're going to be heading back down to the 156 area, and the reason I say that, if I switch this over to the weekly real quick, just the pullback here was a big pullback. But 50, 50, 50, and I think we're coming to the 50. So hold on to your hat. All depends on the Fed this week. See what they do. Nice selling coming into it, and we'll keep an eye on it. I have the Dow that is, to me, in big trouble. The Dow is in big trouble. So one thing I want you to take notice, see this rounded 50-day moving average and how it started heading down, and look how aggressive it took. Okay, look what we're doing. We're starting to round that corner. Okay, that's bad. It's going to get a little more aggressive. All right, here's your trend line heading up on this massive move. Okay, and we broke through it yesterday, and by breaking through that and the Bollinger Band and a hammer today, things could get ugly. Things could get ugly very quickly. So be prepared for the Dow to head south, and it looks like 14.4 will be our bounce point. That's just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth, and we should, if that's the case, then we should drop another 600 points before we get a nice healthy bounce to the upside. If we get that bounce to the upside. Again, it all depends on the Fed. A couple stocks I want to take a look at that we've been playing for quite some time. GSF, we did a great job, called the exit up at 82. After, if you've been following the videos, we were down here and started collecting. Today we do have a double bottom here at 66. I was expecting a little bit lower, and it still might. We still have the Arun heading down, so I didn't come back into it yet. We're waiting for, just going to wait patiently for a new position, and still looking for the gap fill up here at 125 and the 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average to be hit. So keep an eye on that one. Another one today that I wanted to look at that looks pretty good is SCON. Hopefully it comes up here. SCON. We came off the bottom. I missed this yesterday, unfortunately. But it's only moved up, 50 cents, somewhere in that area. But what I want you to keep an eye on is the gap fill at this area, and also I would expect the candle on this gap fill for this day to be up here at 275, and to hit this 275 area. So watch for follow through on a continued bounce, and get this gap filled. Okay. Once we get that gap filled, it'll probably pull back and do like an SNTA. That's been a great trader since then, since the fill. What other ones? FRO. Why has that one been interesting? Well, FRO has had nice support here at the 50, and just needs to break this candle right here. It's definitely one to keep an eye on because it has moved up nicely. Okay, it's still continuing to move up nicely. And if you look at the weekly on it, we're just now getting ready to break, and we did, and we have a nice hammer right here in the weekly. So that tells me we're going to be coming up to the 3 and change area and then higher. So keep an eye on this one for a move forward. FRO. A couple more that I want to get into is PSUN. PSUN, we might have a double bottom in, but we do have to break the 50-day moving average. So keep an eye on this tomorrow. And if we can continue to hold this level right here and stay above this, which we are above it right now, look for the 460 area, maybe even a little bit more. So keep an eye on that one. It's had a nice pullback, and now we're at a double bottom. So the other thing to be concerned about is There was a little tiny gap right here down at 340, so maybe after this next pop, if it can pop, it'll drop back down this area. So keep an eye on that one. PSUN. DCTH may have that bottom in, okay, but here I'm a big fan of gap fills, okay, and I'm going to mark these out real quick because this could be pretty exciting depending on how it goes. I don't know what the company's doing right now to help with their stock price, but it has taken a beating, you know, from 210 down to 34 cents. And I'm not saying it's going up to 210, but I am saying it's going to come up to $1.40 if it can get traction and if it can get legs. All right. You have two gaps. Gaps get filled. They always get filled. Oops, let me fix this. All right, gaps always get filled. You get a gap right here and you get a gap right here. Expect this first gap to be filled at 75 cents. Okay, and from here, that's a hell of a move. If it can get the volume and do what it needs to do. But usually there's an accumulation period first. So the potential for this to be the double bottom is there. Okay, all we need to do is break this 50-day moving average at 40 cents to get an aggressive buying pattern to the upside. You still haven't accumulated in this area, so be cautious. But there is potential for this to come up and hit the 75 and then come up to the 140. All right, and if everything's fixed with the company, whatever's going on, I'm not sure. It could move all the way back to where it was. You know, we've seen it happen 100 times. You know, this thing was at 475, but we won't know until the end of the run on this next one. Okay, so DCTH, keep an eye on that for that bounce. I did take a starter position in that one, by the way. Plug is another one, and I'm going to wrap it up after this one, even though there's 4,000 of them I want to go through. Plug, the only concern I have right now with Plug is it did have a death cross. Okay, but it does have this here. So if Plug can get some action and head to the upside, then it could bounce really nicely. Plus, it's a popular trading stock. So you know, when these things do their business, they get going pretty well. But you get a nice hammer like this, and they get pretty aggressive to move for the upside. You know, look for the 54 to be your first area to break, and after that, then you really don't have too much. $1.25, a little bit here at 75, not too much. But keep an eye on Plug. It is a trader, and it is a fun one. Okay, all my members, will see you in chat tonight for some scans. We'll see you tomorrow morning in live chat. Come on in. It's a great time. We don't miss anything, and it's a field day all day long, and we make some big money. All right.